Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back with another 1,000 pound best friends review. Go ahead and do me a favor and hit the like button as we jump into this show. I just not feeling it anymore. I used to really enjoy this show, but I guess because of how so many of the people up here are still people that I cannot find myself relating to, I'm not enjoying it. Out of the crew of people, the person that I'm rooting for the most is Vanessa, as it's been through the past several episodes. So we begin the episode with Vanessa sitting on the couch, letting us know that it has been 10 days since her last surgery and she is feeling a lot better. She went to the doctor a week ago for her checkup and he took all of her bandages off, and she was not only able to stand up, but she also saw her body for the first time without all the other apparatuses and things. And she's happy with the weight loss. So now that she's had that surgery, her next goal is to be able to have sex. Megan, Tina, and Ashley come over to visit. And they've already noticed a difference in her. They see that her stomach is gone. And apparently Vanessa just didn't do her stomach. She did her arms and her breast as well. And she doesn't hesitate to whip out the girls and show them the adjustments. I started laughing because I love it. Because it's very much so something I would do. Like I with my friends, I should say. I'm the girl that would be like, "Ooh, look what I got on. Y'all see this bra? Isn't it cute?" Yeah. So I can see friends sitting around and having that type of discussion. She checks in with Tina, who says, she's hanging in there, but she's feeling very lonely watching everyone else eat around her. And Ashley's like, look, this is now your life, and you cannot keep thinking that you're going to go to another room when your husband eats. You have to be able to push through it. And I'm listening to Ashley talk and I hear Ashley, but Ashley had moments of her own, so it's not always easy to receive that from her. And also, I think something that needs to be taken into consideration is the fact that Tina wasn't ready for this. It seems to me like they should undergo a certain amount of therapy and things of that nature to prepare them for this. Because if they're noticing that it's common for people after the surgery to struggle this much, I feel like maybe they're not made privy to all that's going to come with them deciding to make this a lifestyle change. So they end up going to group the next day. Vanessa is not there, of course, because of her procedure. Well, I don't know if it's the next day. We'll say a couple days later. Tina doesn't want to be there, she says, because of how hard it's been for her. Megan shows up. She's a little, one of the last ones there, but she shows up and she has a brown envelope and pulls out pictures. I don't even understand the point of her pulling out pictures of Dr. Proctor, but apparently Dr. Proctor used to model. I'm gonna tell you like this. He was handsome when he was younger, but he's fine now. It's something about facial hair and the little bit of, gray that he has going on that has done something to that man. I don't even know what it is, but Dr. Proctor is fine. And he got money. Hey, Dr. P, if you ever watch me, hi. So, Megan, they talk about the exercise zone contest and who spent the most time there in the exercise range on their Fitbit, and we find out that Megan was second runner up, Ashley was first, and the winner was Scott. He had 7,000 minutes with his heart rate being in the exercise zone. So he gets a $100 gift certificate to a health food store. I think that's awesome. That's a great reward, especially how much things cost now. But let's be real, $100 on healthy food doesn't go any far. So it doesn't go that far. So they talk about what no scale victories. He's like, I want to know what victories have you had that don't involve the scale. So one young lady says that just putting on makeup and going out is a victory for her, because before she was very much so a hermit crab. She was the type of person who wouldn't be going out. Megan says, June will be 4 years out from me. And for me, a victory for me is not having to wear those grandma bras anymore. So she's like, look at this. And she pulls down her dress to show off her pretty strapless bra. Megan is very flirty by nature, and I often have to remind myself that she's married, because between Scott and Dr. Proctor, and it may be just me, y'all tell me down below, I see a lot of flirtatious nature there. Like, she does things to get attention. It's very much so, you can't talk about the things that Vanessa does when you do some of those same things. So after a month, Tina says for her, it's been a month and a half since her surgery, and one of the things that she's been able to wean herself off of, or the doctor has weaned her off of, is her blood pressure medicine. But she's been struggling. She said food was her comfort. As she went to it when she was happy, she went to it with sad, and now she's depressed because she doesn't have it. That speaks volumes to what food is to some people, and it means that there's other areas in her life that she's needed to work on, that she doesn't know how to properly address the situation. It's a lot of what I see sometimes when I look at Tammy. So she's told that without food, she feels everything, because before, food was her numbing agent. And she starts to cry. So she's telling Dr. Proctor and another one of the employees that she just doesn't feel right, that she lost half of herself. And Megan tells us that she can relate, because there were times when she was going through the process that she felt that way too. And it's really something that you're going to have to work on. So Dr. Proctor then says, I need you to know that the way you're feeling isn't unusual, that this happens a lot during this process, and people don't realize the emotional attachments they have to food. I think that that's profound, and I think that that's something that they need to talk about more. So he says it's going to take you to really work through it. That's part of the reason why I encourage people to do stuff like this, to be a part of the support group, because you're going to have to redefine who you are. I want you to start thinking about that. And as he's saying, like, who is Tina? Scott starts talking to Tina, and he's trying to tell her like what he's done and gotta go. And Tina isn't trying to hear it. She says Scott can talk about what he's doing and everything else all he wants to, but he hasn't had the surgery yet. And he's sitting here talking like he's an expert, and it irritates me. Ashley kind of agrees with her, which lets us know that there's going to be some stuff there, and we see it next week. So Ashley, we see, go to the fertility specialist. She checks out her follicles. She says that she likes to see at least 4 on each side. She has 3 on the left, and she doesn't see a lot on the right. She doesn't say how many or of what she sees on that right side. The doctor then says that there is no reason that she will not be able to get pregnant. But there's a possibility that there's more follicles there, but she may not be able to see it, because she tells us that weight sometimes covers that up. She then tells Ashley, like, look, your weight will affect your blood pressure. Diabetes and other things can happen if you get pregnant. She said also, with excess weight, fertility medicine can be affected. It can affect your egg quality. It can affect the way that your body responds to it. It can make it harder for you to conceive. There's a lot of things to think about that are associated with weight, which Dr. Proctor already explained this to her. But maybe if she's hearing this from a woman who also happens to be a Black woman, maybe she'll listen to her a little bit, because sometimes women feel like, oh, why is this man telling me this thing about me? And here she has a woman telling her about herself. So she says, I want you to lose 25 to 35 more pounds. Isn't it interesting how she's only saying 25 to 35? Dr. Proctor was saying more than that. And I would go more so with what Dr. Proctor said, because Ashley's still a big girl. So at 38 and 39, she says your chances of getting pregnant naturally without assistance is 8 to 10%. And when she said it, I was like, is that because Ashley's weight? Because I know a lot of people who've defied those odds naturally, if that's what she's saying. Ashley said, hearing her say that made her instantly regret some of her choices. It made her feel like she should have did the right by her surgery the first time and all those other things. And it's recommended that she does something about her weight sooner than later, that she work on this process sooner than later, because we know that after 35 you're geriatric, according to their standards. I hate that word, but that's what they say. So she wants her to jump on it. In another scene, we see Scott and Megan hanging out. She's there to look into his fridge and to get rid of things. But Scott tells us he doesn't even really want her to do it. He doesn't like this attention on him or the judgment, whatever, Scott. So his mom instantly snitches on him. She starts talking about that string cheese and how her housekeeper that comes once a month always looks behind the couch to see if he has string cheese wrappers back there. Megan then stands up to walk behind the couch. Now, we're told that the housekeeper comes once a month. That's what we're told. Megan stands up, walks behind the couch, and there are 2 empty packages. The package that all the string cheeses come in, 2 of them back behind the couch. So not only is he greedy, but he's nasty too. Because why couldn't you put it in a trash can? Why is it behind your couch? It's not even in your house, and you don't take pride in that. He's very entitled, and I can't get with Scott. So he says that he's hiding things to avoid arguments, but his mother knows all his hiding spots because she starts calling him out. So not only are there 2 packets behind the couch, but apparently in the entertainment center in the cabinets, she tells her to look over there. There's a wrapper hanging. Megan pulls out one drawer. There's a whole bunch of packets there. Megan pulls out another drawer. There's a whole bunch of packages in there too. He'd have to get out my house, because not only are you eating too much, but you're being nasty. As Megan is opening up these multiple cabinets, he has a pillow over his head, acting like a kid, saying he's embarrassed. Well, were you embarrassed when you took your tail up and you hid the stuff in the drawer? No, these are things that people do who are, I don't know, little kids or who are sneaky. And if you're sneaky, you can't be trusted. So Megan is sitting there counting out the wrappers, and she counts 24 wrappers in that one spot. That means that's at least 2 packages in there. And there's a pack in there. His mom's like, I just want to know why. Like, why are you doing this? And he's like, because I'm lazy. And Megan's like, I don't feel like it's him being lazy, because he had to get up to put it in the cabinet. I think it's a cry for help. I don't think it's a cry for help, Megan. I think he's lazy. She then tells him, cheese may be your trigger. For me, it was potatoes. And what I had to do was I had to eliminate them until I can get control of them, until I can, do the right portion amounts. I didn't eat it. I get what she's saying there. I know for me, my problem is ice cream. Always been ice cream. I've always loved ice cream. I don't like milk, but I love ice cream that doesn't taste milky. And when I say that, I'm not the person who always has to have like soda. And most of the time, y'all see me, I have water. If I have, something sweet, there's a little bit of spirits in it. But my go-to drink has always been ice cold water. Love it. Always have. With that being said, I get how you got to do certain things in moderation if it's something that you have problems with. I've eliminated ice cream at times for months at a time because it was like, oh, every night I got to have ice cream. That's not healthy. Why am I doing that? So I get what she's saying there. So they head to the kitchen. She pulls 2 big packages of string cheese out. And she's like, these are one of the things that we're going to have to get rid of. And he's like, can I eat one? Just one last time. And I said, the fact that he's sitting here asking if he can have one before she gets rid of it shows me that this man is going to be sneaking to the store to go buy more cheese. He says, if the choice is between surgery and cheese, string cheese, I'm going to choose the surgery. We shall see, because Scott always says what sounds good, and he's proven himself to be a liar, in my opinion. Back to Vanessa. It's been 5 weeks since her last appointment, which means it's been 6 weeks since her surgery. And she still feels like she can feel the extra skin on her body. She says she still feels like when she's sitting down that Betsy May is in her lap. And he tells her, give yourself time, because it takes time for the body and your nerves to realize that that's gone. He says this is the first of multiple surgeries. Next, he's going to work on her back and her buttocks. We see an image of all the tissue that he took from her body. He said it weighed under 40 pounds. He says this isn't just a physical thing, but I need her to understand that this is psychological, because he's like, look, you're throwing years of baggage away. And she's like, yeah. He says it's going to change the way that not only people are viewing her, but as she views herself, and they just aren't used to it. He weighs her again. When she first started with Proctor, she weighed 441 pounds. Before surgery, she was 220, and she is now 195 pounds. And he says, you're probably even smaller than that, because right now you have a lot of fluid retention from the surgery. She's asked if she's cleared for sexual activity, and he says yes. And she's like, great, because I did it already anyway. When she said it, I was like, Vanessa, girl, it's not that serious. Vanessa would be one of the people who, when the doctor tells you to wait 6 to 8 weeks, depending on, what type of delivery you had, until you have relations, Vanessa would be the person that gets the pregnancy test and it ends up coming up pregnant. I remember when they were like, you gotta take a pregnancy test, because I was like, no, I don't need to take a pregnancy test, I'm not pregnant. And the doctor was like, if you knew how many people told me that they weren't pregnant, and then I give them the pregnancy test and they are, and I took the pregnancy test and it was like I said, I wasn't pregnant. I should have asked for a refund, because why y'all charging me for a pregnancy test with my insurance when I said I wasn't pregnant? I'm going on a rant. My point is, Vanessa would be one of those people who ended up pregnant. So we see Scott meet up with Vanessa to shop, and he says he's inspired by her and looking at her. He brings up Tina being depressed and wanting to kind of get her out of a funk by taking a girls' trip. She's down, but she's like, Megan and Ashley, and he's like, no, I've already spoken with them. And they've agreed to go. So Vanessa's a little worried about how the trip may go, because she doesn't want, past issues to come up. We see her try on clothes, and she's excited. She's like, this is the first time that she's ever been able to just grab something off the rack. She checks in with Scott. He says he's been working out for the past 6 days, and we see clips of him working out with the trainer as well as swimming. He says he's going to the gym 6 times a week, but he said that before. It's not just about that. It's about what he puts in his mouth. So she's interested in seeing what really happens. He hates going clothes shopping because it's hard to find stuff. And Vanessa insists on the man and her going clothes shopping. And for whatever reason, I don't know if Vanessa wanted to laugh at him or what, but Vanessa had that man try on a 2X jacket. Vanessa, you knew that man couldn't fit no 2X jacket. He's a big boy. He's supposedly wearing I don't know if he's wearing 5X or 6X, what size he's wearing, but his stomach is hanging out of the shirt that he has on now. So what makes you think he can put on a 2X? So he puts it on, and she was like, oh, it doesn't fit. And she keeps handing him jackets that aren't his size. So of course now he's in a funk because he couldn't find anything. He couldn't even fit a 6X. So we then see him go to Dr. Proctor with his mom, and he's nervous again. He said he doesn't want it to be like the last visit, and he hopes that he makes his goal, because he doesn't, want to disappoint his mom. And his mom wants him to make the goal too, because she don't feel like seeing him devastated or cry. It's been a month. He says he's been in the pool 2 hours a day, and he had one, a low day where he ate, a string cheese packet in 3 days. And he lied about how many string cheeses are in there. His mom is like, it's 16, but he says he's going, give them up. That's what he's working on. I want to know how many times he did that, Because when did Megan go over there to have that talk with you, and when did you weigh in? Was that a week apart? Like, I don't understand. So he gets on the scale. He looks shocked about the number, but of course, we don't get to see it. And that's how it ends. If there's something that I left out that you want to talk about, feel free to put it down below. How do we feel about this episode? Has our opinion on any of these people changed? Let me know down below. Until next time.